Good evening. Good evening. We are back with another episode of the Sip and Chat. If this is your first time ever turning into one of our Sip and Chats, my name is Manina, and I am the owner of Legacy BookBar. If you're wondering what is a Legacy BookBar, we are an online Black-owned bookstore that caters to Black self-published and traditionally published authors. The talent that is in our Black communities needs to be shared. And it is unfortunate that there's not larger platforms for you to be able to find authors in no matter what genre you like to have. So instead of being upset about it, I created my own platform. So I created a bookstore. Now, right now it is online and the website is scrolling across your screen. The goal is, of course, to have a brick and mortar store, and you'll be able to come inside the store, and then you will be able to find books such as Better Than Ever. Tonight, I have with me Miss Sherry and Miss Larissa here with us, co-authors of Better Than Ever. Thank you so much for being a part of the Sip and Chat tonight.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So I love your journal. Me personally, I wasn't a journal person. I never really stood journals. I don't know. I was one of those like Post-it notes, jot a note down on a Post-it note, stick it to the refrigerator. Once it did it, just Post-it note away. Post-it notes, every color, every size. Then as I got into the bookstore, I realized that so many people journaled. I did not realize that this was a huge thing. So then I said, well, clearly I am missing something. So I said, well, when we get the first journal in the store, that will be our journal entry. And this is my copy. And I said this quarter, once we got over the hump of the first quarter of 2021, because I felt like January and February was just a continuation of 2020.
Absolutely.
I still had to
listen.
It was rough. It was rough. I said, but going into spring, I wanted to start journal, and I'm going to use your books as my test journal. So I'm super excited.
Well, I look forward to hearing how that goes for you.
Absolutely. I figured everyone has one of those. Everyone is doing it. Why not you do it too? So why not? And the one thing I must say that a lot of people have told me was how therapeutic it was for them to be able to write in their journal. I must say for me, I love the convenience of it, where you read a couple of pages and then it's like, oh, then I can write right afterwards. So whatever my thoughts were about what I just read, it's all in order. I absolutely loved it. I know some journals I've seen, they've had the text part that you write at the back of the book. Well, by the time I got to the back of the book, I might have forgotten how I felt at like chapter 3. So then I got to go back. Like, do I stop reading? Do I go to the back? Do I write? And I think that's probably why I'm like, maybe journal's not for me. But to actually have the text portion directly after each chapter was super amazing for me. So if anyone is like me and needs like, come on, we got to keep it going because they're going to lose me. If you're one that's like me, this journal is definitely for you. So kudos. I love it.
Awesome. We're glad you like it.
Absolutely. So every author of Legacy BookBar, they always know I am huge fan of all of my authors. Like, I am always their biggest cheerleaders, regardless if I'm selling the books or not. It's just I'm an avid reader. So getting new books, it's like, oh, we got a new book. I even show my husband, like, look what came in today. He was like, you have to sell them, right? I'm like, oh. All right. It's like, can you really get high off your own supply of books? Sometimes, but still have to sell them anyway. But it was so cool. So again, like I said, thank you so much for being a part of the book bar. So let's talk about your journey into your journals.
Okay.
Play on words. That was so cool.
That was good. That's tweetable.
You like that? That was cool. I loved it. That's cool. So Larissa, tell us about you. What made you decide to become an author?
Well, I do radio. So I am a part of a online radio station, the Awesome Guard Radio, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good Life Gospel Show. And it is actually the book was birthed through what I wanted to do as an extension of what I do as a co-host. So I share good news, inspiration on my segment, and so I didn't initially want to become an author. I'd never thought about doing that. Now I am a journaler. I always write. I'm like you, but you mentioned I write on post-it notes, I write on napkins, cups, whatever I can find, just to get my thoughts out. But the journey to become author was just something that happened. And from there you have it. So I'm grateful, just stepping into new territory. It was for me, definitely therapeutic. And I've gotten so much out of becoming an author because, you write things and then you set it to the side. You normally just think about it for that season or that moment. And then, it never gets brought back to your memory. Right. And so I asked my good girlfriend, would she come along on the radio journey with me? And it actually turned into a book because when I sent the co-pilot to a friend of mine, he said that I should write it as a book. So that's how my journey of becoming an author began.
Okay, I'm loving that. And what about you, Sherry?
Well, I appreciate that you asked Larissa first because she's the reason why we have this book all put together. Like her, I am a journaler. I consider myself a writer because I write everywhere. I've written poetry, I've written a lot of things, but they're all tucked away, hidden somewhere in my house in a book, never to be revealed. That's just not where I thought my writings would come because that wasn't the purpose of me writing anything. It was really cathartic and just to get it out, just to express myself, feel in that moment and keep it pushing. So I did not ever consider it. Funny enough, I used to always try to get my mother to write, like, Mom, you should write. She tells great stories. She can make up a story like immediately off the top of her head. She's so creative. So I always tried to push her. That was never something that I was interested in doing and never thought could be something that I would consider myself to do. So it was really just a matter of Larissa saying, hey, what do you think about this idea? She knows I hate being in front of the camera. So doing a show was not necessarily something I was interested in. And then, let's write a book was even further from something that I wanted to do. I don't like putting myself out there per se. So I was like, let me pray about that one. Let me pray about that for a second. But she really wasn't taking no for an answer, and I appreciate it. And I was like, all right, if she thinks we have something, we might. And I kind of took and fed off of her confidence. It's like, okay, I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this with somebody that I love, someone that I trust. And I do think we have something good here. Like, I like our stories, and we always say it's a good book. It's a good book. So I'm really grateful that I took that faith journey of lots of fear with Larissa. And so that is how I became an author.
Okay. So as we're journaling, what's your favorite genre to read? Just curious.
I like, I think we both, and I answer for both of us. I think both of us like inspiration. But I also like historic, like Black historic, like autobiographies, things like that. As a child, I liked any fiction. So, any Terry McMillan, like that kind of, I wanted to read all the things I shouldn't have wanted to read as a young child. But as I got older, I kind of steered away from those books and kind of like autobiographies a lot more.
Gotcha. Okay. So I always ask my authors this, even though I personally know the answer. I always ask this with my authors because some people, they don't know and they need to hear from other authors. Did you ladies self-publish or traditionally publish your book?
We traditionally, we publish. Go ahead, Larissa. I'm answering you. Go
ahead. We actually traditionally published our book. I got all the information, and Sherry and I are just like, we have an idea. You go do it. Can you do it for us? So we definitely traditionally published but there are some things in the works that we plan on self-publishing. So
I guess that you kind of answered that one. So you ladies, and maybe one or two, are probably the only ones that actually, for their first book, went the traditionally published route.
wow.
I always tell people that is, I can't tell an author which way to go. You have to know you. There are some like you that say, you know, I have the idea, I can write it. You guys do everything. Let me know when the book is ready for print, and then I'm there. There are some that like they need to be so hands-on. They want to, you know, they want to do everything. They want to pick the editors. They want to pick the covers. They want to do, you know, and have more creative control. And I always like to get feedback from authors because, you know, of course, you know, this episode is always on Facebook Live and it's on YouTube now. And a lot of authors, especially my aspiring ones, they don't know which way to go or why they should do one versus the other. I always tell people to research. I probably did 8 months of research before I even came up with the name Legacy BookBar to make sure that this was something that I could do. Was it going to be just a phase, or was I really going to be able to do it to fruition? And that was just before I got to the name, and I didn't even have an LLC at that point, and then still did research after, like, ongoing of home assignments to keep Legacy open. But always tell people, what's your strength? What's your weakness? When you start any new job, career, new path, what is it that you want to do with it? Where do you want to go? And, you know, what's the end goal? What's that little leprechaun at the end of the rainbow with the pot of gold? Where do you want to see your book? So where do you ladies want to see your book at the end of the book journey for you ladies?
I don't think that we consider an end to the journey. So I definitely think that we've definitely branched off. So in addition to having the book, we do have a podcast which streams on all of the platforms, Better Than Ever with Sherry and Larissa. So that's one avenue. I am a business coach. Larissa's a mental health coach. So we also are planning to open up and expand our community of resources with that. So Better Than Ever isn't just a book for us. It's definitely something that we plan to continue and branch onto and have a community of other things to offer. So,
yeah.
I commend that because I know, unfortunately, especially in our Black community, mental health is sometimes brushed under the rug. Where it's, you know, keep it in the family. Don't tell everybody outside the house our business.
Pray it away.
Then pray it away. And sometimes you do need that professional person to talk through whatever it is you're going through. I think people should be more aware and more okay with it. Sometimes we as Blacks, we need therapy, and it's not taboo anymore. That is what we need, as well as, you know, all the other services. But I commend you ladies for that. Absolutely. And then, of course, writing the process out in their book. Why not?
Right. Got to start with the South.
Hello.
Start with the. See how we just did that? See?
Full circle.
Yeah. Full circle. I love it. How has the response been since you ladies have published your books?
The response has been amazing. There are personal stories in the book from Sherry and I throughout our time from childhood on up until now. And the feedback that we've gotten has been great from both men and women. And even some of our teenagers, you know, are enjoying the book because it is self-reflective, right? We take our stories and we allow the reader to see themselves in victory at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll speak for myself and for the both of us, and Sherry can just hop on in, that we did not believe that it would, you know, just open a bunch of doors and avenues for us, because we really didn't know what to expect. we were like, okay, we're going to put these personal stories out here and we just going to roll with it because, you want to keep things that have you have experience close to your heart, right? Because you don't know what people are going to do with your information. You don't know how they're going to use it, to harm you or to do any of that. And we trusted in each other so much so that we were like, okay, if nobody gets anything from this, I want you to get something from it. But the feedback has been amazing. We're so grateful. We are absolutely floored at, I'm a Jesus girl. So I'm absolutely floored at what God is doing through us and through our writings and through our stories of aha moments. And, it's just been very overwhelming in a great way. And as Sherry already mentioned, like it's a journey. And so we're just every day we're like, okay, what's next? Okay, thank you. So it's just the gift that keeps on giving for me and for us.
What about you, Sherry?
I feel like you did a great job of speaking to that. It has been amazing, just the reception and what people get out of it. We had another interview not long ago, and it's always interesting to hear. And we tell people what you get out of it is what you're supposed to. So we don't want to have this objective. I think when we wrote the book, yes, we did the whole self-reflective, self-tip moment because we want you to actually sit with the story that we've unveiled to you or, given from our heart and think about how it can relate to you, but how you interpret it and what you decide to write and your personal journey of moving forward from that moment of feeling stuck is completely up to you. So it's always gratifying to hear which particular stories meant something a lot more to people. Both of our moms have read it. It's been amazing just to get their feedback, different generations. So it's just been really great for people to really just be receptive to something that we weren't sure was going to be received well. We weren't sure what was going to happen. Weren't necessarily confident in doing it. So it's really just been all positive and really great.
Yeah.
Really good. I love to hear it. I know here in Baltimore, we've gotten some really good reviews at the pop-ups. You guys are the first journal. Yeah. First journal. So it's like,
Thank you.
When we first opened, of course, yes, pop-ups have been amazing. So of course, when we first opened, it was of course romance and urban fiction that was coming in galore, and then it was like, all right, what else do we have? And as more came in, I started noticing there are certain things I don't have yet. So I started, all right, where can I find this? Where can I find this one? And then, of course, we met through Instagram. And then it's like, wait a second. After we did everything and I was going through inventory, I was like, this is the first journal. So, yes, kudos to you ladies having the absolute first journal with Legacy BookBar. So, yes. How now, of course, as you know, free publicity is always good when you use it in the right way. Right. How important or how big has social media been in getting your books out there to different people?
Who wants to?
Oh, me.
I would say Larissa's so much more tech savvy, and she does all the beautifulness that you see on her pages.
It has not. Well, I think it's been kind of 50-50 for us. Word of mouth is amazing and still fluent and, acceptable and received and all of those things. I think that as it relates to strangers, because we do have our SNL Better Than Ever page, it is not just a author's page, but, it takes a little bit of pieces of both of us and what we do collectively as a unit as well as individually. And the people that are assigned to me are different from those that are assigned to Sherry. So we've met a lot of different people through social media. And again, just a sharing of, something that we might have said or something that we might have written draws attention and great attention too. So I think it's kind of 50-50 because we're not well versed in social media. So when we post, we're just like, oh, somebody liked it. Oh, okay. And then, then we get those dings on our accounts, like somebody purchased the book or somebody sending a review, or maybe a direct message of somebody saying thank you. I bought this for some friends, and are you guys starting a book club? So social media, I think, because we're now in the world of virtual living, it has been a great help and an asset to what it is that we share, because I'm like you, Manina. I do like going to the library. I do like going to bookstores. I like the little cafes where you can sit, but social media has been a great platform for us to use, especially during this time.
Yeah. I would say, I think it really, for social media, because I'm not social media savvy, I don't really like posting. I don't. I love when we get posts and people say stuff. I love all of that. But for me, I think it's also helpful when you utilize the platform, like reaching out to you or being able to see that there were other bookstores, like what other bookstores are in Baltimore. And we've been blessed to really be able, from our self-publishing, that was a Black female who did the publishing company that we used. And we were very involved with that, to the graphic designer that we selected for our book, Black-owned female, to be able to have our book with you, a Black female business. So it was really a blessing to be able to leverage what social media has and the access that we have, even if it's not because people are constantly on our page, but what other avenues can we access by using social media in that way? And of course, people always ask, what's your hashtag and your handle and all of these other things. So you have to have those things in place. But it's really, I think it's been more beneficial for us to be able to navigate other people's and saying, we have this, come back, look at what we offer, and utilizing it in that way.
Right.
I hope for people that are watching, that are hopefully going to share the broadcast and learning throughout tonight and previous episodes, that networking is huge, virtually and in person. I know some authors I've come across, it's like they want instant gratification with networking, and sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes it can happen, yes. And when those come up, I feel like those are like 1 in a million shot where it's instantaneous. Sometimes it's through word of mouth, it's through a hashtag, it's through a share, it's another bookstore sharing your book, and then another bookstore sharing that bookstore, because the two bookstores are social media friends, and it's like, oh, hey, go support this bookstore, they just got a new author, and now look at what you have now. And just learning to use social media positively, and where you can take your body of work, because that's really what we need to do, regardless if you're with Legacy or not. How can we get more people access to your book? And I tell this to anybody. It's just like Barnes and Nobles. It should be so many opportunities for your book. If it's 5 bookstores in Baltimore, better than ever should be in all 5. And if they're not, like, why not? Why not? I can go in Barnes and Nobles, and it is 30 authors, and they each have more than 5 books, and they're all on the shelf. And then I go into another Barnes and Nobles, and it's the same thing in a different city, different state. It should be the same thing here with smaller independent stores. And I always say, like, why not? Hi, and Larissa was first. Wasn't me this time.
Right.
Wasn't me this time. It was Larissa.
We're all
child, a whole mother in these streets. Okay, you see me like, hello?
We got 3 mothers, and it was a bet. Who was going to get the first one? I just knew it was going to be me. Was not me.
You're doing good.
Listen, child, it's been things thrown in the broadcast before with the child being interrupting me.
True story.
Listen, it is what it is.
I've had someone come to ask me for cake in the middle of a broadcast, and I'm like, I don't care. I can't stop anyway, so you're better off getting it now. I can't move.
Right. You can't do anything about it.
I can't do anything about it, so just go get it now before I say anything. But needless to say. So let's talk a little bit about some of the chapters in your book. So let's see, because I have certain ones marked off for me. So So I love the personal messages from each of you. And again, I was probably so bad as a reader before a bookstore owner. You know how you just kind of, I just want to get to the chapter. Come on, like who? But now it's like you're immersed in the book industry. What do these authors have to say before you get to the story? Like it's a whole, how did they get here? Why did they get here? And that in itself can be a whole nother book if you read it. And I just started like, oh, well, let's read what they have to say today. So I really liked your personal messages from each of you. For those that are watching and are sharing, of course, Better Than Ever can be purchased at www.legacybookbar.com. And if you're watching tonight and you have not purchased the book, hashtag pop up and get 10% off tonight because you're watching the broadcast with Miss Larissa and Sherry and Better Than Ever. Yes. So let's see what was okay. Now, this is a 30-day journal. So people that don't know, most people have 30 days, 60 day, 90 day, and a year. But this is 30. And I feel like a lot can happen in 30 days that you find yourself repeating the next month. So I like this one. So I'm going to jump to day 2. And the only reason I'm going to jump to day 2 because I kind of lived day 1 and I'm going to pass that one by. Pass that one. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you have to purchase the book to understand what day 1 was all about. So let's see. Day 2 was titled Don't Pick Your Scabs. Now tell us a little bit about what that meant in this book. Who wants to go?
I was looking at
day 2, don't pick your can you guys hear me? Because I'm having a little crazy.
It's a small delay, but we can hear you and we can see you just fine.
Okay, cool. So day 2, don't pick your scabs is about, not overlooking something that you think may have been ugly, and also just a disclaimer, Sherry and I do not tell you which person wrote what. So unless you know us personally, you don't know who wrote what part of the book. So, but don't pick your scab is basically saying that the most ugliest things that you may think about yourself may be something that is really the most amazing.
Let's see. We're going to jump to, let's see here. What was the other one? Day 4, validation. Tell us a little bit about that one.
I feel like we both could speak to this, well, all of it because we wrote the book, but I would say for me personally, validation is a big deal. Because we're at some point in our lives, all of us deal with insecurities. All of us look for some way to be validated, for someone to recognize what it is that you do. So, a lot of times your self-worth is wrapped up in what other people say, what other people's portrayal of you is, and how much weight that carries when you're allowing other people to give you a high five, waiting for someone else to pat you on the back. With this book, no one was going to push us or pat us on the back if we weren't going to do that. Number one, for ourselves to show up, and then for one another to show up. And so just really having that conversation with yourself of, you need to be able to validate yourself. If no one else is going to do it for you, you need to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, it is well, you are good, you are happy, you are smart, you are joyful, you deserve great things, you should go out and access great things. So really just taking a look at what validation means to you and not looking at it externally.
This one, so if anyone that has not purchased the book, I will show you this. So let me go back to validation. Where'd it go? So this page 23 is validation, but right beside it is the text. No, wait, this side, sorry, is the text part that you can write talking about. Oh no, wait, validation.
Other way, that's your journey.
Other way. I was right first. See, looking at myself in the camera had me all messed up. Sorry. Okay, so validation is on this page, and then you flip it over, and then this is where you can write how you're feeling in reference to the chapter about validation. I thought that was so cool because by me, if I had to wait to the end of the book, I would have forgotten. There would have been post-it notes sticking out the side of the book, like this is what I meant for this one, and this, and I would have had a whole book that looked like a college textbook with all my notes on sticky notes. It'd have been crazy.
And that's okay too, if that's what you need to do. I have friends that will never write in the book, and so they have a journal to write outside of the book because they don't like writing in books. So whatever works, as long as you read it, you receive it.
I kind of get that. If you grew up, you never ever write in a book. I get that. I hate when I would pick up textbooks and they would write notes in the creases. That just used to do something to my spirit. Like, you're not supposed to write in a book. But I get this and this. But to me, this is a journal. So you write in a journal, but it's a book at the same time. So I totally get it. I get it completely. Day 6, you are enough. Who wants to take that?
So I'll take it. Day 6, you are enough. That means you have everything within you equipped already to tackle life and have a fulfilling, successful life on your terms. Because I think it goes along the lines with validation. We have to start from the inside out, and we have to know that we are already fearfully and wonderfully made. God, the way that God made us is perfect. Just because somebody else doesn't get on the team doesn't mean that you have to look at yourself in the mirror and feel inadequate. So you are enough is just another affirming and reassuring thing that you have everything that you need to succeed in life. You have everything that you need to overcome any challenges or, things like that. You have everything that you need. And I think that a lot of times we just want more and more and more and more, right? And then when we're able to receive more, we don't know what to do with it, or it's still not enough.
Right.
We're just always searching for something to fill that void. But rather than looking for the outside to come in, you just need to use what you got to get what you want, right? And so that is what you are enough speaks to. We can co-sign for one another. We can, pat each other on the back or cheer someone else on. But when we recognize that we are it, honey, that's my thing, right? So when we recognize that we are enough and what we have right now is all that we need to sustain us, then we have a more appreciation for the creation that God has given us. We have a more of appreciation for ourselves, and so that's what that chapter is about. You are already enough. You are more than enough sometimes.
I love it. And I must say that part definitely spoke to me, because I have a business bestie, and we talk a couple times a week, and sometimes we're just like cracking up, and then I'll get into I don't think I'm doing enough, I don't know what I'm doing, why did I do this, why did you convince me I should do this? And she's like, girl, if you don't get yourself together. And I'm like, okay, you're right. But it's like, but even today for me, almost 40, started a whole business on a wing and a prayer. I still felt like, oh, this author didn't want to be a part of the store, and taking it personally. And it's like, well, wait a second. You're mad about one author, you got 30.
Right.
Wow.
And I had to, and I had to think about it, like, wait a second. I've only been in the book industry. We launched November 2019, hit published on the store February 1st, 2020. Insert COVID March 2020. It's April 2021, and I have
a bookstore.
A whole bookstore. 32 authors.
That is amazing.
A thriving bookstore.
Thriving, yes.
When businesses were closing. That's a lot to
in the middle of COVID, exactly.
In the middle of a pandemic where everybody was going bananas, not knowing what they're going to do with their lives.
Exactly.
You have
and
established
I'm like,
this amazing thing.
And I still, today still say like, oh, well, what are you doing? Oh, I got a bookstore. And it's like, wait, what?
No, you got a
And
bookstore.
then you start talking. It's like, wait, you own a book,
Right.
like, and it's like, oh wait, time out. And then I go into like instant like owner spiel mode. And then to me, I'm still shocked. I'm still not like, you own a bookstore, girl. Stop tripping. and that's me. And I said, what? I said, clearly, this is definitely something. And for me, again, not as a bookstore owner, I'm reading this book as a reader. Like, take off the hat. I'm reading, as just Menina, and it's like, wow, this is me. Like, I'm still not thinking, am I enough? Am I doing the right? Am I doing everything I can for these authors? And it's like, ma'am, with still a 9-to-5, still a wife, still a mom.
Right.
Ain't but so many hours in the day, says, but you're doing as much as you possibly can. So I know for me, it's like, wow, if this is how I feel, I can imagine how others who truly are into journaling, how this is really hitting them. Yeah. And I'm new. Like, I just got, when did we get this book? January? I'm super new, right? Super new. And it's like, wow, I've clearly been missing something in my life, but it's okay.
What's there now? We're grateful for.
Right. You're there now, right?
And this is why we need Black-owned bookstores, because this is the kind of content that you would find in Black-owned bookstores. And then not only that, having the opportunity to interview the authors to hear their inspiration and their storytelling behind the book now makes you a little bit more appreciative of, wow, I get it now. This is, as a reader, this is how I felt about the book. And then this is the feeling they wanted to get out of the book.
Yeah.
A whole trifecta moment just happened, This is what we're getting. So this is when I say, you can always spend your money however you want to. I would never tell you how to spend your own coins, but when you can spend it Black owned, how many lives you're touching with a sale.
Right.
The sale is, of course, we always love the sales. We're not even going to lie about that, but the emotions behind it, you cannot get that anywhere else outside of Black owned. So.
And if I could just interject really quickly, like, it changes the narrative of what it is that we're capable of doing.
Absolutely.
We're not just, what the media would always try to portray, which is why I think that we fight so hard to paint the real picture and paint the true picture. And so, just your feedback alone and just allowing us the opportunity, because this was one of the goals, to be in a Black-owned bookstore, because it matters. We talked about mental health earlier. We talked about, just being an inspiration. And, like you said, if I'm feeling like this, and I can imagine the journalers, how they feel. And so as authors and as just a person that has written it, and I'm like, I'm feeling like this, because some of the chapters we wrote just thinking that it was just us feeling like we were feeling, right? And then, just sharing with Sherry, she's like, I felt like that too. And so if we felt like that, and we just felt like we were alone in the struggle, and now finding out that, no, we really haven't been alone this whole time. And so just, creating a community and being able to change the narrative and be the storyteller of your own story, is a reward in itself. And so we appreciate what you're doing. And, we appreciate the fact that not only are you a bookstore, but you are accessible everywhere. So, all we have to do is get on the World Wide Web, right?
Absolutely.
And there you are. So kudos to you. And, we are very, very much so appreciative that you would even just allow us to be a part of your store, and that you're actually reading and enjoying the book. So that's great for us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And that was the one thing I always told my authors. Yes, I'm the bookstore owner, but I'm going to read your books. I have to know. I want to know what I'm selling. I want to be able for someone to say, oh, what's this book about? I want to be able to, like, oh, girl, let me tell you. Page 45 right here is going to take you through it, right? I want to be able to do that. I want to have that personal connection with the books. At least right now, you know, futuristic down the road might not be able to do that when it gets bigger. But you know,
Right.
this time right now, I want to be able to say, you know, the first 100 authors, the first 100 books, read all of them. You know, we did book clubs, we did book signings, we did this, and I was with them as the fan. You know, yes, we hosted it, but I read it and I can tell you all about it. I want to be able to give that back to you, because what's the point? You know, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, self-help, yeah, aisle 5.
Right.
Oh yeah, self-help tab 7. Like I don't want to be that. You know, I don't want to be that. Oh, you're looking for self-help? Yeah, you just go to the store and then get like 7 down and like 3 over. Like, that's so impersonal. I want to be able to say, all right, so what are you going through right now? Okay, I got the journal for you. Okay, this
That's awesome.
You know, I want to be able to do that. Like I said, at least right now, and so far I have been able to do that. And I've been enjoying this ride. Has just been so amazing. Meeting new people, reading new books, because then of course, like I said, I read everyone's book at least twice, because I got to read them when I get them, then I got to read them when we do the book clubs. It's like, so I just love. Like I said, I love them. I get the boxes in, and it's like, yes, so great.
I'm loving your excitement.
Right.
So if anyone didn't know, definitely hashtag a geek. It's just I'm a book nerd. It is, but I love it. All right. That is just me. Got a couple of comments. We have Antoine Jefferson that says, woohoo, hey family.
Hey.
Yeah, my mom, she's here. She said,
hey,
hello,
Mama.
ladies, and
Hi,
inspiring story. She's here with us every night. So thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, if you're watching, you know that you'll be able to watch this episode Facebook Live and on YouTube. So make sure you tell your family and friends that there are multiple avenues for you to be able to watch this broadcast as well as all of the other previous broadcasts. Ladies, this talk was amazing. Can't wait to have you ladies on for our book of the month for you ladies when we get to that point. Hopefully we get to see you ladies in person for some in-person book events coming up. It is really, really good. So I always ask this of my guests because I need to know, like, where's your thought process? Where are we going in life? So, you know, it's 2021. Go 40 years, you know, we'll be fabulous at 60 plus, high 5 and 70, still looking fabulous, right?
Yeah.
And you look at, you know, the business you want to start, your mental health facility. You know, you got one journal could turn into 5 journals, which could turn into a whole novel, which could turn into a whole like self-help mental health book that people can just like 300 pages. And it's just like, how do you deal with mental health in the Black community? It's a whole thing. You can just take it wherever you want to take it, right? And then you sit back and you're like, wow, this journey was so amazing. And you look at your kids and you look at your grandkids and you're like, oh, look at everything that we accomplished and everything that we did together. What do I want my legacy to be? Sherry, I'm gonna have you go first.
Oh. that was a lot of buildup.
That's my one deep question.
That's a deep question. What would I want my legacy to be? Honestly, because I feel like at the end of the day, I love everything human services, whether it's behavioral health, mental health, whatever. I want to be able to touch others in a positive way. I would want for my kids to know that. We always talk about wealth and generational wealth financially. Yes, certainly. I would want to make sure that everything that I do also helps to have them understand financial literacy. But none of that matters if I feel like they don't have a heart to serve and to give back to others. Like as I'm building, you know, my portfolio and as I'm building myself up in my career and my businesses and all of these things, I always want them to know that it's bigger than just the deposit that you get in the account. It's so much bigger than having your name on social media or on a YouTube page. Like, what impact did you make in other people's lives? And if you haven't made any, then what was your life worth? So I really think being able to make sure that they understand, you can do all of these great things, but what is the deeper purpose behind all of this? We didn't write this book so that it looked really pretty on somebody's coffee table. We not only wanted to be able to show our children that if you have a dream, you got to put forth the effort. You have to, really sometimes put forth your money, and you have to pursue this. No one is going to do this and accomplish this for you if this is something that you want to do. Anything that you put your mind to, you can actually do. But we also wanted to make sure that people got these books and they read them and it meant something. So I think for me, that would be the legacy. I would want someone to remember my name and remember I did something for other people.
Gotcha. Okay, I love it. Larissa, what about you?
My legacy would be, my grandmother was everything to me, and she passed away a few years back, and she had a legacy of service and love and rest. A third grade education, 13 kids. And when she passed, we were at the funeral, and everybody, including family, said the same thing about her, how she loved, how she served. So I'm carrying the torch right now. So, leaving a legacy of that for my daughter, helping her to understand that you set the tone for your life. Nobody else does. You do. You work hard. You do the things that you love. You do the things that you enjoy, and give yourself a fighting chance. I know what the news says. I know what the media say. I know what the haters say. I know all of that. But you are the thermostat. So the legacy that I would want to leave is that, whatever you need is already within you. Celebrate that. Strive to be the best human that you can possibly be. Pick others up along the way, but don't forget about you. So a part of that legacy would also be, that she lived well. I want that Cicely Tyson blessing on my life. Okay.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
And look good
she
doing
lived
it.
well. She served well, she lived well, she loved well, and she looked good while she did it, right? And so if I could leave a legacy, that's the legacy that I would leave. I don't want to work so hard that I don't get to enjoy it and watch other people flourish because I've served. I want people to win in their lives, and I want to be able to win in mine. So when I sit back and sip lemonade, and like you said, Menina, be 60 plus, and looking fabulous, looking over my life and my family, and say that, okay, I did that. And to God be the glory, because it's not in and of myself, but that's the legacy that I would like to leave.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. We got a couple of comments in the comment section. We got Kenneth Brown, Indomitable Brown said, "Amen. Good answer, sis."
Hey, brother.
We have another legacy author, Indy Jones, said, "Excellent."
Thank you.
So Kenneth's "Amen. Good answer, sis" was to Sherry, and then he commented again and said, "I agree," and that was to Larissa. And then my mom again commented and said, "Loved both of your answers." So
thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Yes. So tonight's broadcast was amazing. You ladies were so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please feel free to stay with us. We got a couple of events I have to talk about. We got some new books, new arrivals, fresh in stock. I want to just go over with everybody, so just stay with us. So if you have been listening or you just tuned in, we have Sherry and Larissa, co-authors of Better Than Ever 30-Day Journal. So if you are like me, new to journaling, or you are an old vet to journaling and you want to try out a new one, I definitely suggest you get this one. The website store is scrolling across your newsfeed. So it is www.legacybookbar.com. You can use the hashtag pop-up and get 10% off tonight if you want to purchase this book. Of course, our bookstore has genres upon genres of amazing, talented Black authors, because we are a Black-owned bookstore that caters to, of course, Black self-published authors. So, speaking of our newest arrivals, we have newest author for our baby section. Who Made You? by Miss Angelita Dawkins. This is new. It just came in this week. So if you are looking for a very nice, good Christian book for your little ones, Who Made You is going to be the book of choice. So make sure you get that. Now, if anyone is like me and is super into this whole Marvel MCU universe and has just been like binging the was it Falcon and Winter Soldier, I just watched episode 5. That one was a tearjerker. They got me. That one was deep. I didn't think they were going to go there, but they definitely went there. But it's really good. So if you're like me and you love Marvel, we of course have Black Panther, because why not, right? And then of course we have Falcon, right? Because if you got Black Panther, you got Falcon, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like if you're gonna have Falcon, you might as well have Spider-Man Miles Morales, right?
I love it.
Why not, right?
I love it.
Why not get all of them? Oh, and then I dropped one, but all right, that's okay. So we have those 3 books in stock. So if you like Spider-Man, Black Panther, or Falcon, you are more than welcome to get those books. They are in stock. And also, newest book. I was so excited when I found this book. I was like, yes, this is great, because again, this was the newest Disney movie that came out. All the kids loved it, and we got Soul. So if you love the movie and you want your little one to have the storybook to go with it, we have Soul in stock. Yay. So get them while they're here. Then, of course, Indy Jones. She is fabulous. She is one of our resident authors. She's been with me since the beginning because I cyber stalked her, because that's what I do, right? So that's what I do. But my authors love it. It's okay because it's all in love. So whatever I tell people, I'll say you never know what you're going to get when it comes to Legacy Book Bar. So, of course, you know me, face of Legacy Book Bar, Black-owned, female, right? And then majority of our authors are self-published, right? And then we do have a few that are traditionally published because we're liking to mix it up. Indy Jones is a solo self-publishing company author. Wow. So you purchase one of her books, Black-owned bookstore, Black author, Black publishing company. You get all 3 of those with one purchase, right? Where else can you get something like that? So what sold out, because these pop-ups have been amazing. We have done really, really well at White Marsh. We have a 2-in-1 that went like flapjack hotcakes, shrimp and grits, catfish. They went crazy. Like everyone was like, "Oh, let me get this one." So this is back in stock. The Gift of Second Chances by Indy Jones. So if anyone is familiar with Indy Jones on our website, you know she has the fantasy sci-fi section on lock right now. And then she also does romance. And she has two 2-in-1 books with the bookstore. So we have Gift of Second Chances, and then we have Rhythm and Blue Skies. Those books are now back in stock because guess what? We sold out. So again, when I tell you our authors are super talented, they're beautiful, they're talented, their books are selling out. So when I say get on the train, I really, really mean that. Like, get on the train, because these authors are so talented, and we want to make sure that you're able to get all of the wonderful works, right? So this is April. So we got May book month coming up. Book of the month, we have Her by Malachi Bailey. Now, if you remember, we had Malachi Bailey on back in October when we did his sip and chat. Now, if you remember, his character was turning into a comic book, which was turning into an action figure. So we want to make sure that we support this brother and his fantasy story called Her, and be with us on our website. Want to say that it's May 24th, but forgive me because I'm not 100% sure if that date is accurate. But guess what? It's on my website, and you can RSVP tonight and get your copy of the book. Family and friends, of course, are always welcome. So even if you haven't purchased the book through Legacy Book Bar, but your family and friends of the author, please feel free to join the virtual book club. We have a lot of fun always with our virtual book clubs. We always have the authors on site. So all of the burning questions, the who, the why, oh my gosh, I can't believe you killed this person. I'm so glad you killed this person. How come this person didn't get together with this person? Oh my gosh, where's the sequel? Wait, I needed a prequel because this person needs another story. So all of those burning questions, you actually get to ask the author on the call. Indy Jones actually had one. She should be having one coming up very soon as well. So she can attest to how much fun the book clubs are. Let's see. That was May. June. Big news. Big, huge, drumroll huge news. So if you have been following us on Instagram, thank you. If you've been following us on Instagram and Facebook, then you know that June 24th, we will have USA Today nationally best-selling author, romance writer of the year, I want to say 2017, Beverly Jenkins will be a part of our book of the month in June.
I have one of her books. That's amazing. It was the first Black novel I ever read with the romance novel. It's in something with the storm. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes, Through the Storm.
Yes, Through the Storm. I have that book on my bookshelf. I loved it.
She is going to be a part of the book club in June. We are going to be discussing Bring on the Blessings. That is book 1 of her series that we in her Facebook group affectionately call Bob 1. So that book right now is for pre-sale. That will go live, I want to say May 1st. So if you want to get in and get your books before May 1st, go do that pre-sale, get it today. Again, use that hashtag pop-up, get 10% off because you're going to want to be the first in the door virtually for that June book of the month, right? Exciting news, right? But then my birthday's in July, right? So I had to follow it up with, well, what are you going to do in July, Manina? Like, what? Can you even top that? Of course I can, right? Right? USA Today. Nationally best-selling author, A.C. Author, will be a part of the book club for July. When I tell you I had an ultimate fangirl moment, so then let me tell you, right? A.C. Author lives in Maryland, right? I met her, so my son is 7, so about 8 years ago, right? Her, Beverly Jenkins, Michelle Moncool, Iris Bowling, they all came to Reginald F. Lewis. It was a free event. They talked about the book. When I tell you I was sweating, I had the fangirl moment. I was sitting in the front row and I was like, oh my God, I've been reading Beverly Jenkins since I was 15. I can't believe it. She's going to sign my book. I bought a new book just for her to sign it because I wasn't even going to touch it. I wasn't going to read it. All of the authors there were so nice. I purchased books there. They signed all the books, took pictures, ultimate fangirl moment, right? AC Author lives in Maryland. Her and I are, social media friends because she's an author. I'm a bookstore. So, hey, why not? I shared one of, what month is this? April? So maybe the first event I did in March at White Marsh Mall. I was like, hey, surprise, I'm at White Marsh Mall. Come check out the pop-up. We're having so much fun. Like, come purchase a book. She comments on the video and says, oh, you're nearby. I might stop by.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay, well, right, okay. And again, who would think, right? You're just like, oh, just the fact that she commented, I was like, sweet, right? So someone comes up, they're like, oh, hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, your stand looks great. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking it's a customer. We all wear masks, so I can't see above the nose, right? So she's talking, and I'm like, so what books do you like to read? And she was like, the books that I write. I was like, oh, this is an answer I've never gotten before. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'm like, so what genre do you write in? Because at this point, I'm like, I have no idea where we're going with this conversation. So we're just going to go with it and see where it leads me, right? And she was like, girl, it's me, Manina. And I'm like, me who? I'm so confused right now. Who is this person? She's like, it's me, AC. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm about to give her the whole spiel. I thought she was just someone that was stopping by the pop-up stand. No clue. She talked to me there for about 15 minutes. Her and her husband, they purchased a couple of kids' books. She was like, yes. I was like,
Wow.
my daughter had no idea. She was like, why are you freaking out? I was like, you have no idea right now. Like me. Let me call my mom and tell her what just happened. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So great. So, but yes, she has graciously agreed, both her and Beverly Jenkins have graciously agreed to be a part of the Legacy BookBar virtual book club. So May 1st, Beverly Jenkins' book will be available. And then I think June 1st, AC Author's book will be available. So amazing, super fangirl moment things are happening with Legacy BookBar. As you know, our anniversary is, I'm going to blink, and our anniversary of Legacy BookBar is going to pop up, and I'm going to be like, holy crap, what am I going to do this year? Well, God willing, COVID numbers don't get super crazy. Hopefully, we can have a 2-day event in person. I am planning for virtual and in person. See what happens. So everyone, please, please, please pay attention to all social media sites. Please, please, please. We are hoping to host an in-person book fair on a Saturday, and then host an author's brunch on a Sunday. So keep your fingers crossed that everything, COVID numbers don't get crazy, and we can pull this off as safely as we can amongst this crazy, crazy global pandemic. So just keep your ears out. Just listen to everything that's going on. Again, be aware. Please make sure you're following. Remember, all of our virtual events right now are free. So make sure you're RSVP, because I mean, free events are always fun for me. So if you are like me, you like free events, you might want to participate. So, I mean, and why not hear from two of the best that ever did it in Black literature? So why not? So of course I'm just going to do my best. And again, they were coming into the store. Guess who books they get to see? So when I tell people I'm doing my best, our authors are talented, recognition is coming, just bear with me. I do mean that. And we're going to get us there. The train is going to keep us, and this party is never going to end. So thank you so much for being a part. Everyone that commented, Indy Jones, Julian, hey Julian, Kenneth, my mom, guests who have shared, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. Make sure you are back here next Friday for another episode of the Sip and Chat. Oh wait, I forgot. Next Saturday, pop-up shop back at the mall. I forgot. So if you don't want to order online and you want to just get the book because you want it in hand, meet me at White Marsh Mall and get Better Than Ever by Miss Sherry and Larissa. And you can get this book at the pop-up shop next Saturday. Everyone knows I'm in front of Bath & Body Works and White Barn. I'm there from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We're there twice a month. So make sure you stop by and come and see me. Larissa, Sherry, again, you guys were great. Thank you so much for being a part.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everyone stay safe. Continue to wear your mask, even if you've gotten your vaccinations, because everyone else still have yet to get theirs. So please, please, please be safe. Be mindful of the numbers and the crowds. We will eventually get out of this, but we just have to buckle down and just bear with it for a little while longer, okay? You guys are great, and I will see everyone next week.
Bye.